Apple just flipped the script in a major way with iOS 26. Now, usually Apple's iOS updates feel familiar, kind of refined, incremental, and predictable in the best way. And as someone who's used every single version of iOS since it debuted, yes, all the way back to the original iPhone, I've seen Apple's software evolution firsthand. But iOS 26, this one's different. Apple didn't just polish what we already had, they've reimagined the experience entirely. Visually stunning, genuinely smarter, and packed with features that we've all been waiting for. So let's dive into why this update is so refreshing. First, the new liquid glass design. Now, the first thing you'll notice, Apple's calling this new UI liquid glass, and honestly, it does feel pretty fitting. Every element from notifications to widgets now floats like translucent panes of glass above your wallpaper, reacting naturally to lighting and motion. So it creates this sense of depth and interactivity, almost as if your apps and controls aren't just displayed, but rather hovering right beneath your fingertips. It feels immersive without being overwhelming in most cases, subtly pulling design cues from visionOS and bringing them straight back into your iPhone. It's very sleek and intuitive, and I think once it gets dialed in as we approach the release date in September, it's gonna make everyday interactions feel fresh. Now, liquid glass is visually distinct, but honestly, the lock screen might be even cooler because it's noticeably smarter. It dynamically adjusts the clock around your wallpaper's main subject, like your dog's ear or the peak of a mountain or the corner of a building, which means it feels less like static design and more like your iPhone actually understanding your content. My favorite new feature here though is definitely spatial scenes. It elevates your wallpaper into a subtle 3D interaction, shifting perspective as you tilt or move your iPhone. And the result is that it creates an illusion of depth that's immersive yet subtle. It feels futuristic, but without being too gimmicky or intrusive, and blending seamlessly into everyday use. Now, as good as the lock screen is, Apple didn't stop there, because next they've also fixed one of the biggest daily annoyances. The camera app thankfully got streamlined, and it makes a noticeable improvement. Apple cleaned up the interface, bringing your main modes, photo and video, right to the forefront, with just simple swipes to navigate between the other modes that you might be looking for. If you need to adjust the timer, exposure, or tweak other detailed settings, that's just a swipe up, and now it's even more intuitive because it actually tells you what all these different modes are instead of making you rely on just a visual icon. So it's more intuitive now and cuts out the clutter that you may have been wrestling with for years. And the Photos app complements this new streamlined vibe. And I know a lot of you guys were upset last year about the changes made to the Photos app. I actually like them a lot, but you guys win on this one. The library and collections tabs are now separate, significantly speeding up how quickly you can locate and enjoy your images. And here's the cool part. You can even transform your favorite photos into the spatial scenes I mentioned earlier that we have on the lock screen right in the Photos app, giving your gallery a dynamic and immersive feel that just wasn't possible before. Now, the streamlined Photos app definitely helps, but the next update might finally bring sanity back into your messaging. Yes, Messages just got a serious upgrade in usability. Spam texts, those now land quietly in their own isolated corner, out of sight and mind, finally. Group chats are more transparent than ever, clearly showing who's typing so you can easily keep track of the conversation flow. And here's a neat touch. When your group can't settle on dinner plans or movie choices, you can quickly drop in a poll right in the thread, streamlining decision making. Plus, the biggest addition, real-time on-device translations that work for text and audio alike with no internet connection required. Everything stays local, protecting your privacy without sacrificing convenience. So it's efficient, smart, and feels genuinely much more modern. So that's Messages, but if you, like a lot of people, dread picking up unknown calls, you're gonna love this next one. The Phone app gets way more useful, and honestly, this is gonna be one of the most practical upgrades yet. Apple combined favorites, recents, and voicemail into a single, effortless scroll that makes navigating your calls a breeze. But the real standout feature here is call screening. Now, when an unknown caller pops up, Your iPhone politely asks them to identify themselves, transcribes exactly what they say, and lets you make an informed decision on whether to answer, let it go to voicemail, or message them back and have the phone read them your message. And then there's Hold Assist, which is probably my favorite part. It waits patiently on those painfully long customer service holds and then gives you a heads up the second a human jumps on the line so you can reclaim your time. Now, maybe this isn't life-changing, but it's definitely a real convenience. And again, these new phone features generally save time, but behind all these upgrades is something even more impressive. And that is basically round 2 of Apple Intelligence, and this time it does seem to be significantly smarter and more practical. Visual intelligence lets your camera quickly understand the objects around you, like menus, shoes, or signs, and immediately provides Siri with relevant actions or information without needing explicit instructions. That was last year. Now it's been upgraded to being able to understand what's on your screen as well. So not just what's around you, what the camera can see, but also what your screen is showing you. So if you're looking at a poster with a date and time, take a screenshot and you can quickly add that to your calendar. If someone's wearing something you would like to buy, take a screenshot of that photo and you can do a Google search to find where it is, or ask ChatGPT about that product. Even third-party apps can get in on the action. If you see something that you take a screenshot of and it's available, let's say on Etsy, then you'll see Etsy results right there in Visual Intelligence. Genmoji now allows you to combine 2 different emojis into one, which just kind of makes it easier to get a result quickly rather than having to describe every single Genmoji that you want. And now you can also make them an image playground, which also picks up ChatGPT integration. So instead of having Apple's models make the images, you may want to use OpenAI's much better image models instead. And now you can do that right from inside of Image Playground. Now, for a quick roundup of other notable updates, CarPlay now adopts that same liquid glass UI, making your driving experience more seamless and visually appealing. And you can pin important chats right into your CarPlay interface for easier communication on the go. Apple Music introduces lyrics translation, letting you enjoy your favorite songs with translated lyrics, and Auto Mix, which creates smooth DJ style transitions between tracks, and it also picks up a cool lock screen animation as well. Maps enhances privacy while logging your travels with visited places, which is great for revisiting favorite spots, or when you're trying to remember what was that place I went to a few weeks ago where I got that amazing bagel. It'll just show up right there in your visited places list. Apple Wallet steps up its utility, offering real-time flight tracking directly from the app, making travel less stressful. And lastly, the Apple Games app simplifies your gaming life by bringing Apple Arcade titles, non-Apple Arcade games, your game saves, your friends and game center, challenges, etc., all into one convenient central hub, making it easier to pick up right where you left off in your games, and also to discover new games that you might enjoy based on the ones you play a lot. If you're hyped to try it, the developer beta is out now for iOS 26. The public beta comes next month in July, and the full release hits this fall. iOS 26 will support iPhone 11 and newer, but the most advanced AI features will require an iPhone 15 Pro or later. So as you can see, iOS 26 is more than just another typical annual update. From the immersive liquid glass design and dynamic lock screen to practical enhancements in messages and the phone app, Apple's delivered features that genuinely enhance your everyday life. Add in Apple Intelligence that makes your device smarter without compromising your privacy, and it's clear this update is pretty substantial. So, bottom line, if you've been waiting for a genuinely transformative iPhone experience, iOS 26 is definitely worth the hype. I'm curious though, what feature stands out to you, and what do you think of the new liquid glass design? Drop your thoughts down in the comments. I'll meet you there for further discussion. Thanks for watching as always, guys. I appreciate your support. I'm Andrew Edwards, and I will catch you in the next video.